Hi, sisters. I wanted to come and talk to you guys today about I'm turning 50. So this is my 50th birthday, and I'm thinking, man, I never thought I would be here. It feels like it went by so fast that here I am. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all the experiences that I've had. I'm grateful for the wisdom that I now have today. And I'm grateful that God is using me in my wisdom years. But I was also like reflecting, like, what would I tell myself back in my early 20s or, you know, back when I was first starting out? What would I do differently? And my life is not your life. And I am appreciative for all the experiences that I've had because they've made me the woman that I am today and given me the wisdom that I have today. But I think there's some things that I can offer some of the younger people to hopefully glean from, to maybe do some things a little bit differently. Because if I could go back, I would definitely do things differently. So I'm going to talk about physical, financial, and spiritual. First, I'm going to start with the physical. If I knew then what I know now, I would take out all processed foods and sugar completely from my diet. I did not realize how poisonous these foods are, chemically laced. Sugar is highly addictive. It destroys your cells. It really is very aging. It ages you quickly. And so that is definitely one thing if I could go back is just not even deal with processed foods, sugars, fast food, things of that nature. I would be a lot more conscientious about putting whole foods, real food into my body and careful of like chemicals and all of the things that are put into a lot of our foods. And I would do intermittent fasting. I love it. I think that that is a way for our body to regenerate cells. There's some really great health benefits to it. It helps with your skin and just overall, they call it the age backwards way of living is intermittent fasting. So I would definitely still do that. Take care of your body, go to the gym, walk, lift weights, not don't have to be a bodybuilder, but just, keep your muscles going, keep the tone of your muscles going because there is going to come a day that you're going to turn 50 and we start to lose muscle tone, our hormones start to shift. There's just a lot of things that start to happen in our bodies. And so the more that you work on that, the better you're going to feel, the better your body's going to be able to withstand a lot of the hormonal changes and physical changes that you're going to go through. Also, get on a good skincare program. I believe in that. And that's one thing I always did do is I was always very good about taking care of my skin, but I would have definitely drank more water and been careful because beauty, really, skincare beauty is from the inside out. It is a reflection of what you're putting in your body. And so that's what I would do differently. So those are physically what I would do differently. So financially, well, I started my own business when I was 20 years old, which is amazing. And it turned into a wonderful business and it took very good care of our family and it was good, but it was good financially, but it was stressful in other ways. But you know what? It was all about building my kingdom. It was all about building me and what I wanted. And so I could have the bigger house and the nicer cars and the fancy vacations and all the clothes or whatever I wanted, putting our children, in the best schools. And it just was all about our building my kingdom and not building God's kingdom. And so if I could do it differently, that's not what I would have done. I wouldn't have went and started that particular business. I would have gone to school, I think, for me personally, and I would have got a medical type degree. So whether I'd have been an RN, physician's assistant, something in medical where I could bring health and healing to people. And the reason being is because this is going to kind of overlap into spiritual, but I would have loved to have gone into missions and brought medical help in need. When you have a medical type degree, you can, the world can become your oyster in helping others during war torn times, people that just are third world countries and don't have medical care. And the door can really be opened up for possibilities for you to go into other countries and spread the gospel, and be able to use that medical degree. So that's probably what I've done, because I just was I love healing. I love bringing healing to people. So I think that's what I would have definitely done differently, because I would have wanted to just give my life to Christ right away. Again, going back with my wisdom, I would have gotten into a solid Bible teaching church. Unfortunately, the waters are so muddy out there that I found myself in a lot of just the wrong types of churches, and churches that just did not have solid biblical theology and had bad theology. And with bad theology comes just all kinds of bad teachers and just the wrong side of Christianity, if you will. And I just wish that I would have been able to really find a solid Bible teaching church early on that would have cared about my soul, that would have brought discipleship and really helped gird me up in the faith. And there were, a decent denomination when I was 20, but I was still just a number. And I have that in my book. I talk about that, a lot of the things that I went through spiritually. But if I could go back, and I could give you any advice, please find a solid Bible teaching church, one that teaches line by line the Bible, one that has, multiple elders, one that Christ is preeminent, one that does not sell out to the social club mentality, to the New Age movement, to New Age philosophies, but just genuinely cares about teaching about Christ, living for Christ, and really cares about discipling you to send you out. That is so, so important. And I just wish I would have found that earlier. But God used our experiences, because we are who we are because of everything we've gone through. And it has really helped us. So I'm really grateful for that. But I would just say, serve more. Get involved in your church, serve, use your gifts, exercise your gifts, get trained up in your gifts. You don't want to waste your life, young person. Please, please hear me on this. Give everything you have to the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's not worth it. Building your own kingdom, the bigger house, the fancy cars, the vacations, the distractions, it's not worth it. Like, let it all go. Anything that's keeping you from truly serving the Lord with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength, like, let it go. Get involved in a community that can just build you up and then send you out, and be willing to go out, be willing to live on less, be willing to live, as a minimalist, be willing to sacrifice just so that you can be a servant of the Lord. There's nothing more fulfilling. There's nothing that's greater than the call of Christ. And we're missionaries here. So even if you don't feel called to, go and serve in other countries, you are a servant of the Lord right here. And we need missionaries right here in the USA. So I would just encourage you to not get caught up in materialism. Don't get caught up in entertainment and all the shiny objects that are out there that take your time, they take your money, they take your gifting, and you squander it on these things. Rather, be intentional and live with intention on serving the Lord. Store up treasures in heaven where it will not rust, it will not be destroyed. So definitely, I wish I could I wish I could help everybody do that. Because I would give anything to go back and do that. And of course, we do that now, and we've been doing that for many years, but it took really reading the word for ourselves and getting born again, reading the word and realizing, like, wait, the word is just so different than American Christianity. It's so different than the Western philosophy of what we read about versus what we've all, like, kind of been exposed to or taught, if you will, in the churches, and the complacency and all that. Like, it's so much bigger than that. And I talk about that in my book, Be the Church, Going Beyond the Pews. And so I definitely would definitely recommend that for sure. Um, Invest. Please, young person, hear me. Even if it's $50 a month, get your Roth IRA opened up and get started with investing, because at the end of the day, no matter what, if God keeps you here, you are going to get into a retirement of some sort at some time. We'll never retire from the work of the Lord. That's not going to happen. But your body gets to a place where it's not going to be able to run 24/7 and do all those things. And so make sure you're investing now. I mean, as soon as you have a job and are able to open up a Roth IRA, or able to open up these accounts, start investing. Because when you're young, you don't have to invest much, $50 a month, which that's, basically a couple meals of eating out. It's one night out. It's, several cups of coffee, right? If you get coffee every day, like it's one less pair of jeans you buy, whatever, $50, and just have it come right out of your checking account as if you don't even see it. Get that done. And I have an amazing financial advisor that works with people all over the United States. And I would love, love, love to introduce you to her. She is phenomenal and she will help you with that. And it's free. So, but that's just so important to start investing right away. You're investing for your future. You're investing so that, you can just be secure in that. And it doesn't have to be a lot. So you can still live as a minimalist. You can still downsize your lifestyle and still be responsible financially. Okay. And then as parenting goes, this may not be popular, but I would never send my child to a public school system. You could not pay me enough. You could not offer me millions of dollars and send my child to a public school system today. It would never happen. I would homeschool. I would absolutely homeschool for many reasons. First of all, just the what they're exposed to, not just curriculum, teachers, other children that are not being raised in the ways of the Lord, just the sexuality and the drugs and the alcohol. And it is my job to raise my child, period. Public school system is a modern concept, and I just would not do it. I would not put my child in that situation anymore. And this isn't condemnation. So if you're somebody who has your child in there, you have no choice, whatever it is. I'm not condemning you. I'm giving advice to the young person. Make a way, make a way, get a smaller home, have only one car. You know what I mean? Do whatever you can do. I know single moms who work from home and still homeschool their children, and it's hard. I'm not going to pretend that's not hard. That is hard, but they make the sacrifice. So I think that, we can make sacrifices, but I do know there's also other situations where it seems it's impossible, or it feels impossible, but you can pray about it and ask the Lord to open up a door for you. There's beautiful co-ops out there. There's really small private Christian schools that are almost like homeschooling. There are some other options, but I definitely just would not put my kid in a public school system. I personally would homeschool. However, I would have had the privilege to do that. Maybe you do not. So consider maybe scholarships, or I think there's new government things that you can send your kid to private school. But I would pray into that. Diligently teach your kids the word every single day. Sit down with them, make that a priority to go through the scriptures with them, read the scriptures, help them to understand the scriptures, teach them apologetics, help them to understand the defense of our faith and the lies and the philosophies that are out there and how to combat them. Because we have an intelligent faith. We have a mind that God has given us, and we have truth on our side. And I would definitely pour in to your children every day, the love of God, the grace of God, the beauty of God, the truth of God, his word, and as a parent, when you mess up, you repent. We just continue to just live authentically before them, not as a hypocrite. Don't teach one thing and live another. Don't put too high of expectations on them. Don't put religious high expectations on them, but just truly show them the loving sanctification walk that we all are on. And where we need grace and mercy every day, help us to give them grace and mercy every day as they are learning and growing as little image bearers as well. And so definitely would do that. and teach them to serve. Start young. Help, we had all kinds of little kids that would come to our food pantry. They'd come with the parents and they would help in whatever way they could. Sometimes it was just helping put canned goods on the table, or as they got a little bigger, sometimes they'd help carry boxes, or they would help clean up, they'd help vacuum, and get them serving, get them working in missions, and learning how to serve the Lord. It's going to break, it will teach them such character, integrity, compassion, to see that there are people out there with needs. And it's such a beautiful thing to raise your kids up as servants and missionaries, and learning how to just love people, really. And so when I use the word missionaries, I don't mean as in teach them how to preach the gospel at age 3, though. I mean, whatever, they'll see you doing that. But I just mean as shining their lights and their love. And people love to see children, just serving. It used to make a lot of our clients so excited. They get excited every week just to come, because they would see like some of the kids, and they'd be like, oh, where's so and so? And we just love her. She always gives me a big hug. And of course, use wisdom as you're doing that. Make sure they're always with you, and or with the adults, the adults that and trust. We don't just leave them off on their own with strangers. But yeah, definitely teach them how to serve. That's a big one, I think. What were some other things that I said? Oh, let your children see a godly marriage. Oh, that is the most important. Seeing a husband who leads and loves his home, and a wife who respects and honors and submits to her husband. There is just nothing more beautiful that you can give your children than the representation of a godly marriage. A marriage where you love one another, where you love Christ together first. You love him individually, you love him together. They see the parents praying, they see the parents reading the word together, they see the parents just speaking life into one another, and helping each other, and girding each other up in each other's giftings, and just seeing a husband who literally lays his life down for his wife and thinks of her greater than himself, and just loves her and is tender with her and washes her and the children in the word. That is the most beautiful characteristic to give our children. And then watching the wife just tend to the home, and gird up the children, and just love and honor, and just take care of her husband, and as a privilege, not as a duty, but as just a privilege. And to see them just love each other, and kiss and hug, and just cherish one another. And so that is so important to really mimic a godly marriage before your children. That will speak louder than anything you can do. It will just speak loud, because if we're like teaching them the word and teaching them how to memorize verses, and we go to church and we do all these things, but they're not seeing it in action, it really brings a lot of confusion to them. And a lot of those kids become very broken as adults, and very broken with Christianity and what it means to be a Christian, or they start to not believe that Christianity can be true, because they didn't see the victory in their own, in their homes. It's like, oh yeah, they profess Christ, but there's no victory in our house. And so if Christ was true and Christ was real, why aren't they victorious? And then it starts to open up all kinds of doors for questioning. So truly center your life around serving Jesus, and not around a job. I already talked about that. Not around a house, not around material possessions, not around entertainment, hobbies, these things that just take you away from the Lord. Center yourself around it. And just, use the youth and the energy that you have to serve him, and to pour yourself out before him. Cut out television, cut out social media, or at least make social media just not a big thing in your life, because it really is a distraction. And television can be so addicting. Television programs can be very addicting. You find yourself just numbing out to this stuff, and it really just dulls our senses. A lot of me and a sister were talking about this recently, that because of all the electronical entertainment, it's almost caused us to all have like ADD, where we're struggling to read books now. We're struggling to be able to just sit still, and just, sit and do, and just be in the presence of God with his word and other books and things like that. Because we just have to have this constant, noise, and constant, things flooding before our mind. I think, a lot of the reels and always quick entertainment, the 3-second videos, 5-second videos, we've really we're struggling, and teachers are talking about that as well, that they're seeing that in the classrooms now, that kids are really struggling to sit still and pay attention. And it's because of that, the flooding of the electronics. So shut the television off. Me and my husband do not have the television on ever. Like, it's just, I don't even know why we own televisions, because they're not on. I mean, for years and years and years, they're not on. The only time that they're on is typically when we have people over and we're playing YouTube worship. Uh, we had movie nights with a bunch of people during COVID. We would have people over and we play Christian movies and stuff. So we did that. But really, our televisions, they're just not on. They're just never on. We like quietness. We don't even have our radios on in the car, you know. But yeah, so definitely just get rid of all of that, or really limit it, I should say. I'm not talking about legalism, like, oh, you're in sin. No, I'm talking about just godly wisdom. Like, that's a waste of time. Read a book, read the Bible, uh, you know, journal, walk, go serve. That time that you're spending doing that, you could be reaching out to people. You could be, sending letters to missionaries. You could be, again, studying and reading the word. You could be praying. You could be having coffee with somebody and just ministering to them, I mean, there's just so much. And again, it's not legalism, it's just wisdom. So I just know, like, for my own walk, like, I just took so many side streets. Like, I wish I could have just had like more of a straight, narrow path, to my journey with Christ. Now it's my journey, and it's helped me to be able to help others, and I see things differently, and probably more so because of the journey I've had. But I just wish that I could have been trained early, trained, differently. um, I was I was trained with real life experience, a lot of trial and error, a lot of hands-on experience, a lot of, just going out and doing it, failure, learning. Okay, now go do this. Okay, I've learned from that. And they can say that is the best way to learn, right? Life experience is one of the best ways to learn, but it takes you a lot longer. It takes you a lot longer to learn these things. And so I don't want you to do that. There's so much, there can be beautiful ways to be trained out there. I mean, life experience, nothing, you're going to have that regardless, but you can get on the track quicker, especially if you're being discipled. So truly get involved with a community of believers where you are being discipled and trained in the word, not just to get intellectualized, but also to get it into your heart and get out there and actually being doers of the word, not just hearers of the word. Because we have a lot of training places that are really great at intellectualizing, and they can give you the Greek and the Hebrew and the theology. And I'm not saying those things are bad, because I love that stuff, as you guys know. But it does me no good if that isn't getting into my heart and transforming my life to where that I'm becoming a mature servant in the Lord. And that's the difference. That is the difference. And um, so yeah, so this is a lot of what I would say, just, the physical, the spiritual, the mental. Don't waste your precious time. You have been given so much time, in this life. And it's so, like, I love this. Like, if you think of like this little lipstick tube here, like, this is your life. This is your life. And here you're born, here you die. And it's not very long compared to all of eternity, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And what you do here, what you do in this little part right here, will determine where you'll be at for all of eternity. I'm not talking about just hell, heaven, or hell, but God is going to Jesus is going to set up a new kingdom, new heaven and new earth, and new kingdom. And we are going to have responsibilities in that kingdom. We are going to be servants in that kingdom. We are going to be there with him. And what we do in this time will matter for all of eternity. The crowns that we lay at his feet, the crowns that we earn, the gems that we lay at his feet, the rewards. We are going to get rewards, you guys. And so we want to spend our time very, very wisely in this part of time, because there's no do-backs. There's no do-overs, I should say, or playback. There's none. This is it. And now I feel like I'm at 50, so here I am. I've already spent this much time. If God allows, I only have this much time left. And I want to spend it wisely. My husband gave a beautiful message not long ago about, numbering our days, really considering our ways, considering the days that we've been given, and what are we doing with it, and to die with no regrets. And so, we're more determined now than ever. And we were pretty determined through here, but now we're real determined to just serve the Lord and just to walk in our gifts and callings and do whatever it is he's commanded us to do. And I don't want you guys to wait until this part. First of all, you may not get to that part. You don't know when God's going to require your soul. If you're here, you're in that 20 range, please, please, I implore you, don't waste your life building a kingdom for yourself with bringing in all the distractions in your home, bringing all the new trinkets to dust, all the new things to care for. Minimalize your life so that you can serve Christ. It's worth it. Nothing will bring you greater joy. There's nothing you can buy, nothing you can have, nothing that can entertain you the way serving Christ does. It's so worth it. Here I am. I pray that you take my advice. I'm here for you. If you ever want to talk about it, pray about it, discuss it further, I'm here to help you in any way that I can. And I will have information on the financial advisor in my show notes and a way to connect with me and anything else. So happy birthday to me. I'm excited. I do pray the Lord gives me another good 25 solid, strong, healthy years to serve him. But I promise you all this, I'm not wasting any of it anymore. And I ask you, please don't waste your life. God bless you.